The brand new Dell XPS 15 and 17 computers are pretty remarkable things, and they're pretty good just by themselves. But if you want to get an even better experience, there are some things that you could buy to make it even just a little bit better. So what are my favorites? Let's find out. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So welcome to my accessories video. These are my favorite absolute videos to make for any of this tech, because I like talking about cool little gadgets that I personally use, and so that's what we're going to go through today. So first up, let's talk about this from like a working from home situation. You want to take this laptop and you want to use it as your desktop home computer. People do that all the time. Well, the first thing you're going to need, I think, is a mouse and a keyboard. The keyboard is great, the trackpad is okay, but I always think a mouse and keyboard is the first thing that you need to purchase if you are going to be setting up a working from home station. And my absolute favorite keyboard and mouse setup ever. These are my favorite. I love this setup so much. It's the Logitech MX Keys and the Logitech MX Master 3. This keyboard and this mouse are the best. There are no, even the Apple Magic Mouse, the Apple Magic Keyboard, I've stopped using those because of how good these two are. Here, we'll move the laptop doesn't need to be sitting there the whole time. This keyboard is the most comfortable keyboard on the planet. Listen to this. It is, I have never seen a keyboard that is as comfortable to use or as easy to get into a typing groove. You can have it paired to 3 different devices at once. The keys are great. They're spaced out. I like how angled it is, so it's super comfortable to type on. It pairs very easily with the MX Master 3. This mouse is just great. You can see I've kind of like worn the wheel. I've worn this thing down because I've been using this for hours every single day. This is the most comfortable mouse. It perfectly fits in like a normal human size hand. Not only do you get vertical scrolling, you also get horizontal scrolling. You get 2 custom buttons right here. This is actually a custom button right here as well. This thing, it's great. And the coolest thing about these two together is you can also get the Logitech unifying receiver, which is one of those like Logitech dongles. You'll probably have to buy that separately. Both of these will pair to that receiver. So if you were using a device and you're trying to use cross computer devices, like I myself, I have my Mac Mini, I have a gaming laptop, and I have my work computer, and all of those things feed into the same thing. Now, I could do Bluetooth through each of those, but I find it easier to use a manual switch, and I have that unifying receiver plugged into that manual switch. So no matter what I'm on, it's always paired, super solid connection. I love it. I'm telling you, we've probably spent the first, two minutes of this video talking solely about this. They're worth it. Man, I should probably just do a video on the MX Master 3 and the MX Keys by themselves because they're that good. But one thing that else I really like in a desk setup, a working from home setup, is like a little wrist pad. Now you may be saying to yourself, Gary, I'm a cool like youngster. I'm in my teens. I'm in my 20s. I don't care about carpal tunnel. Well, let me tell you what, fam. I'm getting older, and you want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself as best as possible. So I like using this little wrist rest here. I don't remember the keyboard that it came with. Oh, it came with the G513 keyboard. I think that's one of the gaming mechanical keyboards that I tried out and I didn't use, but that's okay. I use this all the time right here, just like this. It makes it super comfortable, super ergonomic, so that you're never putting too much strain on your wrist, especially if you're going to be sitting doing this a lot. If you are an office worker and you spend 8 hours a day at your keyboard, and then you're a YouTuber, you spend another 4 or 5 hours a day at your keyboard, you want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And I really like having a palm rest with this. I have this one, and then I also have this one that came with a Steel Series keyboard that I tried out. They're both pretty much the same. I like this one because it's soft and it's plushy, and old man Gary here needs as much soft plushy stuff as he can get. So yeah, here's what we would build out. And then the next accessory that I really like adding on to all of these is you need some kind of a mouse pad. Now, if you have not bought a mouse pad in recent years, and in your mind a mice pad is something that's like that big, well, guess what, fam? You can get whole desk mouse pads now. Mice pads, mouse pads. You can get whole pads for your mouse that will take up a whole computer. You can get them in much bigger sizes. And this is one that I actually found at Best Buy. This is a Fanatic. You can find all sorts of ones on Amazon, but I like having a bigger mouse pad anymore. Also, you can get like a big leather desk pad, which is the one that is on my desk right now. But get some kind of a pad because 1, you don't want to mess up the bottom of your mouse. 2, if you have a nice desk, you don't want to like scratch the desk with your mouse. And 3, it just feels so much better when you're working and you've got a mouse pad. Oh, everything feels so good. So we've got the way to interact with the computer down, but you might need to if you are going to be setting up something working from home. I like putting my computer in a stand for a couple of reasons. 1, if you just have the computer by itself in a stand, this will put it up and away from you, letting you get a lot more work done, a lot more ergonomically, because Check it out. There you go. You can't even see this from right over there. But what I like about this is it gets it up, it gets it back and away from you, and then you have the screen set in a more like natural position. And then if you have your mouse and your keyboard, you're back your way, you can get your work done while looking at it. But what's nice, this does dual duty if you do have like a main screen at your house where you can put your computer on the stand and it can be the second screen to your main monitor. That's actually how I have my work computer set up. I keep Outlook open on the computer all day long so I can manage my email, but then all the documents and the products that I'm working on are on the main screen in front of me. And because I have this stand, it makes it really easy. And stands, you don't have to buy whatever specific model brand stand that I'm talking about here today. You can buy also, there's super cheap ones, there's super robust ones. This is from a company called Sounddance. Place this side face down. Well, thanks so much. I did not know that the bottom of the stand needed to go on the bottom. Thanks, Sounddance. But you can get any sort of a stand. I highly recommend a setup like this because this is how you will actually get productivity done. It's not like a whole bunch of cool software or a whole bunch of cool gimmicks that you can waste time on. And yes, if you want to get into all of that cool like productivity software and that's like the game you play behind the scenes, that's fine, fam. That's you do you. But if you want to get like real work done, you got to set yourself up in a comfortable, usable position. That's what a keyboard, a wrist pad, a mouse pad, and a stand will get you for your XPS computers. Well, I don't necessarily think that you need much more than what you've got here if you're going to travel. The one thing that I would say is you could get another kind of a mouse. I prefer having a mouse because the trackpads on the XPS computers are not the best. This is the Logitech Pebble. It's just like a tiny little mouse. It pairs either via Bluetooth or with a unifying connector. It's very small. It does have a scroll wheel. Clicks. Can you hear that? Clicks very well. It's very comfortable. Fits almost anywhere. I mean, look at this thing. It's super tiny. I love these. They're small. They're comfortable. They do have some clicks to them. It's just so much better than trying to use a trackpad. I love these mice. But there's a few other things that I would recommend if you're going to be traveling and maybe you need to do some extra work. You're probably going to need a dongle if you need to plug this into like a TV or something, because a lot of offices or a lot of spaces, they probably don't have Thunderbolt 4 connections or Thunderbolt 4 monitors unless you're, I guess, working at a very high-end office. I do not work at a very high-end office that does not have that. We're lucky if we got HDMI, so you might need a dongle to plug into HDMI. But what's nice about this is you don't necessarily have to buy anything, right? You don't necessarily have to buy anything because in the packaging, Dell will give you an HDMI and USB-A dongle, which I think very nice. So look, it's an accessory video where I'm telling you you don't necessarily have to buy anything. But if you do need some more additional plugs, the XPS 17 does have 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, where the XPS 15 has 2, plus an additional USB-C port for charging. So if you do need additional things like Ethernet or USB-A or HDMI, you might need an additional dongle. So that's where I would start recommending some Thunderbolt dongles out there. The best part about Thunderbolt dongles, because Thunderbolt is in Apple, it's in Windows, it's everywhere, they're not that expensive anymore. But let's say you were going to set up something like working from home, and I'm sorry I did not see this, it got buried under a bunch of other stuff. But let's say you do need to plug into stuff and you are trying to set this up as a desk setup. What I personally, this is the OWC Thunderbolt 3 dock. They also make a version of this now that's Thunderbolt 4, I believe, but this is the one that I use. It's so nice. This can take this laptop and then you set it down on that stand and plug in one cable when you get home. It gives you everything. Look at this. You get micro SD, SD, headphones, USB-A, USB-C. On the back, you get a ton of USB-A. Ethernet, display out. You do have to power it, but this is incredible. I used to use a CalDigit TS3 Plus, but I had some issues with mine, so I tried out this instead, and this has been working for me for the past, few months. If you're going to be working from home, just like you've got to have your physical setup correct, if you don't want to be dealing with a mass of cables, like something plugged into each connection, get yourself a dock. They will save you such a big hassle, and I've been a big fan of this OWC one. Okay, let's talk about memory real quick, because memory, you're always going to need it, right? So let's talk external memory first. Now, we do have an SD card reader, which means we're going to talk SD cards, and there's only one SD card that I really recommend. Now, not this specific one. This is the very expensive one. This is a Sony Tough Card. This is the G series, which G stands for expensive. Gary, G. Don't buy this one unless you have a specific need for that write speed, and you'll know if you do or not. There is a version called the M one, but I can't show you that because I'm using it right now on this camera, and this camera, and this camera normally uses this one, but it's got a different one because, I got to show you this one. But Sony Tough Cards, they are incredibly tough, but my favorite part about this is they're a unibody design. Now, if you're not one for SD cards, you can skip ahead from this part, but normally SD cards are made from two pieces of plastic that are glued together. Now, I have absolutely had those chip and break, and I've actually broken a whole camera before because a piece of an SD card chipped off, broke, and stuck inside of the camera's SD card slot. These are all one piece. They're waterproof. You can drop them from anywhere. The G ones are expensive. The M versions are priced pretty reasonably, and they are also very fast read cards. I do 4K 30 frames per second 10-bit with the M cards. I mean, they're fantastic. G if you need them. But seriously, if you need SD cards, those are the ones that I recommend. You see these all the time. I'm always recommending these. If you need fast read-write speeds where you might need to work off the drive, get an external solid-state drive. I use the Samsungs. This is the T5. There is also the T7, which is a little bit faster. I would say probably get the T5 unless you, again, had a need for that very fast read and write speed. And then if you just need a bunch of like extra storage, these are HDDs, just regular spinning disk drives. You can find, you don't have to buy this specific one. This is like the YouTuber one, right? But you can find these also everywhere for very cheap. And then one of the cool things, because this is a Windows laptop, you could also get internal drives. Now, the internal drive I can't actually show you because we put it in the XPS 17 in the upgrade video. But you could buy internal accessories like an internal solid-state drive, an internal RAM, and upgrade it yourselves, saving an awful lot of money instead of buying the OEM Dell version of that. I'm telling you, it's kind of an accessory. A computer component is an accessory. It is for this video, I guess. And then let's talk. I got a couple of other things I want to talk about. Let's say you want to transport all of this. This continues to be my recommendation. I'll recommend this bag forever. This is one of my favorite bags ever made. This is like a $10, $15 Lenovo backpack that I take with me everywhere. This has been one of the best purchases that I've ever made. This bag, super comfortable. It's very basic. It's sleek. I think it looks fantastic. And the best part is it doesn't scream, hey, there's an expensive computer and all sorts of expensive accessories inside of here. And you might be saying to yourself, Gary, that's great. That's great. It's designed for 15-inch laptops, right? That's true. This is designed for 15-inch laptops. But the XPS 17 is basically the size of a 15-inch laptop. Check it out. It easily fits the Dell I just dropped one of the accessories. It easily fits the Dell XPS 17. No problems. And that's why I like this one so much. It basically fits into everything that a 15-inch laptop would need, but it's got, oh, I love this. You're my boy. You're my boy, XPS 17. But that bag, Okay, now some ancillary, like some additional accessories that I couldn't really find a place to fit in here. If you are somebody like me, like an office worker, you spend a lot of time in virtual meetings, audio is so important, fam. It is. I'm not saying you need to have a professional desk setup like this for your meetings, but if you are dealing with like high-end clients, nobody wants to hear your computer's microphones. They sound terrible, and because if you have a setup like I do, your computer's probably farther away from you, the audio is going to sound awful. If you are trying to sound better and impress clients, I would say get something like the Rode NT USB Mini. All you have to do is plug it into a USB-C port, and that's it. You don't have to set up like a preamp. You don't have to set up anything. All you do is plug this in, and it works, and it sounds pretty good. It's not going to sound, obviously, as good as this ridiculously expensive setup, but it's going to sound very good. It plugs into normal, standard, like audio things, or you could even buy a $10, $15 stand. That's what actually I use. I just screw it into that. You have it like right in front of your face, and you talk, and it sounds people notice when your audio is terrible in meetings. And then if you're going to play some video games, I got a couple of accessories I would recommend too. Because of the way that this is Microsoft and all like Bluetooth accessories work with Bluetooth now, you may not even need to buy this and save some money. But this is just an Xbox Series X controller. I took this from my son's Xbox. We talked about the PlayStation controllers last time, but since this is Microsoft, I figured I'd use a Microsoft product. You can easily pair these via Bluetooth to your computers anymore. And if you're going to play some Enter the Gungeon or Binding of Isaac, it is so much better with dual analog sticks, right? I'm a gamer. I know. I play WoW Classic. I'm not much of a gamer. Let's say you're going to be playing games online and you need to chat with all of your buddies. These are I don't even know. These are Razer something or other. I should have kept the box. I don't remember what these are off the top of my head, but I will overlay what these are on the screen here. But these are the most comfortable headphones I've ever owned. And I owned some very expensive studio monitors that I use for editing these videos. These are Bluetooth headphones that are super comfortable. They pair very easily. They charge with micro USB, which I'm not a big fan of, so deal with that. You can also plug them in via 3.5mm audio connections if you want to. If you don't necessarily need to talk to anybody, you can take off the little microphone. I've been doing all of my rating and then chatting via Discord with these on. Oh, I'm telling you, I have a very low tolerance for things that are uncomfortable. I cannot tolerate having my head squeezed. It happens with sunglasses. It happens with headphones. That's why I like AirPods so much. But if you are going to be gaming, or I guess even listening to music, these sound good. The audio is great. They're super comfortable. The battery lasts a very long time. I like these. I bought them solely for WoW Classic, and they have not let me down. So yeah, these are all of my favorite accessories for my XPS 15 and my XPS 17. But what are some of your favorite accessories for your working from home setups or your gaming setups as we started talking about gaming accessories? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to find some new cool accessories to check out here. And if you like this video and you want to see how to upgrade the XPS 17 or you want to see how the XPS 15 stands up to some Mac products, you can find my playlist involving these brand new computers by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you're wondering why it's the summer and I have a hoodie on, it's because I'm in a basement, and it is freezing down here.